Hello folks, Reloading Bench back with you once again. And this is a continuation of my attempt to make or copy this particular configuration to some degree, primarily this size, so that I can create an adapter like this for the Hornady high-speed trimmer that I'm going to use to put the RCBS VLD three-way carbide cutter on. And I had some scrap steel in the garage, and I thought, I could always use some more. So I jump online, I look at the rainforest, and they had a great deal. And there's a couple things I've noticed as of late, and that's primarily what this segment is about. One is I'm a Rainforest Prime member, and I'm noticing that next day delivery isn't quite what it used to be. Next day delivery used to be, and you can always, as of late, pay a premium. So you're already paying for Prime. But, if you want your item delivered between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m., you can pay an extra fee, In this case, it would have been 20% of the cost of the item. And I'm like, nah. So I roll the dice and, first thing I'm hoping is, because this has been happening more and more, next day delivery turns into, sorry, we couldn't make it today. We'll let you know when we have an updated, and it's usually a couple days later. Sometimes it's quicker to order another one for next day delivery, have that show up before the first one that was lost in transition shows up, and then you just return it. So, but what was interesting was when I looked at the tracking for this, it started out at, 4 to 7 p.m., then 5 to 9, then it was 6:30 to 10. I'm like, holy moly, whatever. So later in the day, I opened the door because I heard the dog go woof, woof. So obviously someone was around. And this is exactly how this was on a chair on our porch. I could see that this was somewhat open. I could see that something's sticking out on this side. I went to pick it up, and everything kind of just fell out like that. Again, this looked like this. This looked like that. This was still, in here. But clearly, this had punched through. This side had punched through. So we're back to the whole common sense, and the only saving grace is this was two bars of rolled steel. What are you fucking thinking by putting two heavy-ass bars of steel that are already in a flimsy box in a flimsy-ass bag? That's just stupid. Obviously, I've de-identified it when I took the label off, but that's just fucking dumb. Just fucking dumb. Amazing. Amazing. All right, rant over on that. I guess this can go in the garbage because certainly not. Maybe, is this still a bag? Not really. But the idea was, let me pick up some steel, some mild steel that I can work with on the lathe versus my high-speed steel that would be a little bit of a bitch to cut. So the intent is, because this is 3/4 inch, this is 3/4 inch, I'll polish this to give it a nice finish, polish it, put it in the lathe, drill my hole that's roughly, that size with the, so I'll drill it, and then I don't know if I'm going to ream it. I'll probably ream it. I'll drill it and then ream it. And go, I think this is, 0.4 inches, 4/10 of an inch down. And then I will drill and tap this 3/8 by 24. So instead of this pilot, it would be the adapter, or rather a hole that I can screw in the VLD three-way cutter rather. And then I would drill and install a set screw so that I can put this on top or put this into the Hornady Cutter, the Hornady motor, and see how that turns out. So this was like $15 for two 12-inch bars of steel. Can't beat that. I actually went and looked, tried to shop locally, as I usually do, and nope, no can do. So, you know, the Rainforest gets it. But again, I'll polish it, then I'll put it in the lathe, I'll face it, drill it. You know, I'll work in reverse, drill this hole all the way through. You know, I'll figure out how long it needs to be, drill through that length. And then I'll come in through the top to create the tap. And then I will cut it, and that should be my piece. And then obviously drill and tap for the set screw. So that's what the rest of the long weekend will hopefully allow me to do. We'll see. All right, today's project is to start on this. We'll polish up one end and then start tapping, drilling, reaming, or actually drilling, reaming, and tapping in that order. More to come. All right, so here is a polished end as compared to a not polished end. And you can see, hopefully, the differences there. Good enough for what this project is. Off to the lathe. All right, so we've got this reamed that much. And now it's time to tap it. Well, I'll drill a little bit and then tap it. All right, so here's the prototype. Here is the Hornady version, and here is my adapter set screw. Very rough, very rough lathing, rough tooling. Tried to get in. I'm going to call this prototype number 1 because we can make a whole lot of prototypes out of these 2 bars. So let me put it in and see how it look and feel. All right, so put this on. Oh, that's fucked up. My test fittings, everything fit just fine. Maybe I've got, oh, it looks like I've got a burr there. Let me clean that out. All right, burr cleared. Let's try that again. And I'm thinking that reamer might have been too wide because there's a little play. There's some play up in here. But again, we'll call this prototype number 1. Never perfect out of the gate. All right, yeah, it works. It's a little wobbly, and I think that's because of my all right, so conceptually it works. I think on prototype number 2, you see the wobble here? I will not use the reamer. I will just drill the exact, I mean, that's a little better. All right, so the concept works. Let's grab the shield and see how biggy it is. Yeah, so I think I could get away with the shield. Yeah, I would just have to essentially, you know, I'll talk with Hornady and see if I can get a new shield, because I think what I can do is just, it looks like it'll clear. Or I do something like, I've got leftover acrylic from other projects, and I just put a, an extender on there. That might actually work better. Some long ass, yeah, that might work. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. So let me grab a piece of brass and we'll test it. All this tester brass. Again, I'm not going to lock this in or anything. Let's see. Probably should have. So this is not deprimed. This is nothing, this brass. So you can see there's nothing there. And let's do a comparison. Again, nothing's locked in here. Let me move this. That's pretty decent. Again, I just pulled this off the Hornady, so no adjustment. Let me let me unlock this and let me. Oh, I locked the I locked the screw. Screw me. Oh well. Yep. I'm just going to use pressure. Yeah, that came out nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now we will put the Hornady back on. Different wrench, different set screw. I think that's too big. It's always the one you don't grab. Always. No wobble. No wobble. Let me grab another piece, a different piece of brass. Won't get the same results because different lengths. So I'm going to take a picture of this with my phone. When you see the difference in the chatter on this left side versus how clean, yeah, I'm just, I think these need more adjusting. I don't like how deep that's cutting in. And you could say, oh, dude, you just put this in and you fucking, jammed it in there. Well, I did the same on this one. So let me take a picture of these two. Bottom line, conceptually, my idea works. Am I going to worry about turning this thing into this? I think not. I think what I'm actually going to do is go back to my Case Prep Center and just worry about that, because I was getting great results from the Case Prep Center versus this bad boy. So I think this one just goes back in the box. Maybe up for sale. Yeah. Not again, I was curious what my idea would be in terms of making a prototype, and I did that, and I satisfied my curiosity. So just to satisfy curiosity, same bag of brass for all three of these, unprocessed. The Hornady Natural, I don't like how that chafes. That just, you know, it chatters. So the blade needs to be adjusted more. Default settings don't work so well. The second, this was my adapter using the VLD on the Hornady three-way, and I like that better than this. But doing the VLD on the Hornady Case Prep Center gave me the best results in my opinion. And I'll show close-ups of these because the camera never shows it good. So best, good, worst. Later.